Happy Halloween to you guys. Happy, happy, happy. Good evening, good evening, good morning. How's it going? You can talk, you know. Morning to you guys. It's been well, somewhat a quiet week, somewhat. I mean, except for Halloween. Be aware of that again. Um, Today it's All Saints Day and tomorrow's All Souls Day, which means all the Filipinos make a pilgrimage to the graveyards and then visit their bereaved loved ones, as it were. So since Baby Heidi isn't speaking today, so let me talk about something serious. So now, whenever you have, what? I was just gonna tell him to be responsible and always wear a jacket.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mine.
Best costume I had was a cop, and then a lot of people during Halloween they really thought I was a real cop. I'm like, no, 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 it's a costume, guys. Chill, calm down. Anyway, Sarah Tyson says, please take it off.
It's hot. Let me. Well, that's an improvement. All right. Well, I can't wear my costume for long, so
I've worn that before.
It's really hot.
It's very stifling and it's hot.
what's up? It's hot in there, man.
Yeah. Most costumes are. Just a bill. Are there Philippine superheroes? Yes, of course. Yes, of course. The most famous one would be Darna, and the reason why I would say Darna is it would be because she is the Filipina Wonder Woman. What I'm saying is, if I showed you a picture of Darna right now, you'd be like, that looks like Wonder
Woman.
Well, because she kind of is. You know what I'm saying? But there are Filipino superheroes, yes.
There was a 45-year-old gentleman, okay, that was dating online, basically. He met her, I believe, with cherry blossoms. And basically, it's a 23-year-old girl that married a 45-year-old husband. And there's a lot of things going on in this story, and there's going to be a lot of lessons to learn from this. Basically, in a nutshell, the girl actually was working for her husband, not getting very much pay. He brought her over to the U.S. He promised to take care of the family. Part of her family was running some of his business back in the Philippines. And it was kind of like a back and forth. But in the end, within 6 months, they were divorced. And now she has to, I think she said she was going to be working 2 jobs. She's working all the time. She doesn't know how she's going to afford to stay in the U.S. So these are common stories that we hear. A lot of the Filipinos feel trapped. I have an ideal of like me and George. When I'm here in another country, I also feel strange because if our marriage falls apart here, I have to decide, am I going to stay here like her? She has to decide whether she's going to stay in the U.S. and it looks like she's going to. So for me, it'd be the same thing. Would I stay? Would I go? And so there's a little bit of tension, okay, like as far as living in a country where it's not your own, okay? So she's got to be scared. So I'm starting to tell the story a little bit. So with her being
Did you mention her name?
Well,
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah, his name, and this is a real story, guys. Basically, her name is Arlene. She's 23, and his name is Thomas. So, but the biggest thing that comes up is that I feel personally in this story, I just think he took her on, babe, to work his company, which was also an online matchmaking. She said all she did was clean his house and stuff. And
I wouldn't say that. Like, okay, no, no, no.
Babe, she said she only got like 4 hours a night sleep, worked every day of the week for $200-300.
No,
He took advantage all the way
right,
around.
right. He did, yes.
So,
Well, actually, well, let's just to show you, like, you guys get a feel of this guy. Again, be aware it's not a judgmental thing. It's more of an educational thing. Whenever we talk about expats or anything of the like, be aware that we ask you guys to look at yourselves like, could this be me? Could I be doing this to somebody else? Or am I doing this? Am I doing this to somebody else? Or is this being done to me? And so on and so forth. It's okay. It's more of an educational level.
well,
We're not picking on anybody. You're welcome. You are free to do what you do. You guys don't have to listen to us. I say that all the time. I said you don't have to listen to us, but we're just letting you know the laws kind of deal. I usually when I say that,
well, and it's going to be
yeah.
our personal opinion.
Yeah, that too,
and
be
like I
aware.
said, it's a lesson to
Right.
learn. And I know it sounds like it almost sounds forced by saying that, but a lot of Filipinas, male or female, want to go to the U.S. really bad. And now that she is stuck there, literally, she will have to work, like she said, 2 or 3 jobs, and it's really rough. Now she's in debt. This gentleman tried to take her to court on top of it and get more money out of her. It's actually insane. And on top of that, he evidently spent no time in the Philippines to understand her situation, because when the room found out her age difference, they actually gasped. But remember, it's a U.S. court. So
Right.
when they heard there was that difference of 45 and 23, they gasped. Well, evidently, they have not been here because there's bigger age gaps here. And it's quite normal. But usually, when guys take their women back to the U.S., usually there is some kickback, whether they get stared at, whether somebody says something, whether the women say something, because I get that here with George. I mean, I get that now. It could be for some reason. Could be because I'm an American white woman. Could be because I'm plus size and 6 foot tall. Could be that I'm a, American expat dating a Filipino. I don't know but we get hard stares the entire time that we're at the mall or in the restaurant and everything.
Yeah.
So,
And actually, it's good to point out that, as Kiki says, and again, Kiki is a member for 6 months. He says it's our 6 month anniversary. Still in the honeymoon phase, and
yes.
why is that important? It's because 6 months, this shouldn't happen.
No, it shouldn't have. I think from the beginning, she was only seen as a position, babe. He met her through a dating company. He started his own dating company, used her family to handle the business on that end, basically almost matchmaking, which, by the way, the matchmaking thing, there is a liability here in the Philippines if you do it the wrong way, because you're not allowed to be a matchmaker here.
No,
Weird that they'll allow the
Against the
dating
law.
sites. Weird that they'll allow those companies that bring everybody together in a hotel to meet up, but you're not allowed to be a bride. You're not allowed to do the bride. What do they call that? I'm not familiar enough with it.
Oh, the Russian brides.
Well, they got
Like
another
mail order
name.
brides.
Mail order brides.
I say
is
Russian
illegal.
brides because those still
The most
exist.
common.
Um,
But so it is very, but basically that was her large complaint again, that she worked long hours, hardly any sleep. She cooked, she cleaned, she ran his business. He paid her $200-300 a week, where he was paying himself thousands. Just a bunch going on. And, even the judge was like, why are you sending money back to the Philippines? And why are you this? And it just looks like there's a big cultural,
right. Now,
snafu.
as Black Grandpa says, it's not what you think. Why did they break up so quick? Was she too friendly with other men? Something off. There is something off, but it's not that. Let's go on to the subject. Just real quick. Here's a real clip from the gentleman.
She said she was about to go overseas, take a job, and at that particular time, we had been corresponding for a year. And I told her I was going to come to see her and not to go, that I was asked her to marry me. She agreed. And that's why I was going to the Philippines to see her.
Yeah, I didn't want feedback. All right, and now, so that's the gentleman, and then we'll let you hear just a real quick clip from the woman.
And as to his wife, to be his wife, I came here 6 months. I worked for him in American Embassy. He told that Even I came here, I still receive any salary from his business, but I don't get any single penny. He gave me $10, $20. The first time he gave me is $20. And the last one before we leave, he gave me only $10. And like he told me, I always stay in the house. I work for his business. I only sleep for 4 hours to work in his business. Then like I don't get anything. I clean the house, I do everything. And like I told him, he had 1 week salary for $1,000 or $2,000. Then I worked for 2 weeks to $200, $300. But I give him all my first salary. So I told him, did I ask you any money from your salary? I didn't even touch your money. Even we have joint account.
All right. So I want to make a quick statement before you do. Sounds like there were some money issues. Sound like there were some controlling issues going on, guys. Big time. He did not deny that he didn't have her leave the house. Like she was always at the house. So imagine no friends, no family. He did promise the family money back in the Philippines. I think he said he initially sent the money. Did we ever get clarification on that?
Okay, now
I don't think she was cheating. I think
no,
he
no,
was
no.
controlling
It wasn't.
her.
Like I said, it's not what you think.
Yeah.
This is a very special case. The reason why I'm saying was, first off, she did not need him to get to the U.S. Most of her paperwork was already done when they hooked up. So this is not a Filipino who, basically, she's probably somewhat like mid upper class. She's not your typical Filipino who has no passport, no visa, or anything like that.
And it said Arlene and them started
Right.
dating when she was 20 online. So.
Right. So she already had her passport. She's working on her visa and so on and so forth. So she's not completely helpless. She's not one of those who's waiting for a knight in shining armor.
You right here. I'm just going to interject what the article said. It said Arlene contended that her ex-husband did promise to resolve her visa issues at the embassy, so he did pay.
Correct. No, he did. He did promise her. Yes.
No, I got that.
No,
But she didn't go over on her own. It says here that he resolved it to bring her over.
No, I was clear on what I said. She already has her passport. She's just working on her visa.
Right. Okay. So yes, he completed that. So maybe she felt like she owed him at that point too.
Well, I mean, how they feel is a different story. But what I'm saying is, it was already in place. It was already on the works, which is not typical of most Filipinas. That, again, most expats, when they come here, they don't have a passport, they don't have visas, they don't have anything. She was already on the works already, because she was going to work overseas, somewhat like an OFW type kind of deal. It was her plan before she met him.
Okay.
Right. But, I mean, of course, it helps if you married to an OFW. It's a different story.
Arlene said that he used my mom. And before he told my mom and sister, because it said that he promised a bunch of money,
Right.
and that they were running the business side of it in the Philippines. They called the company Romance International. It was a dating business, which
Right.
I'm really surprised that, basically it was a.
So the issue here is, again, one, he's upset because he accuses Arlene of ringing up the phone bill up to $3,400, I believe.
Yes, so it was court hearing over that.
And
yes.
the funny or weird thing about it is, let's get things straight. You're complaining about
Good morning, Jack.
running a
Anyway,
phone bill, but
it's an international business.
you're having your wife
Have her
call
family.
you,
Right.
call her family side of the business and talk about the business. And of course, when you talk about business, you talk about you do talk about personal things. I mean, you are talking to your mom.
Yeah, and he wasn't paying her either, which I get it. Like here, all of our money goes into one bank account, or we go under one billing. But it sounds like he held the money over her head,
Now,
giving her like $200, $300 a week.
Be aware of the problem also with she worked hard. Actually, you guys heard the clip. She worked really hard. She basically, she's not the help, Jack. She's not the help.
No.
And she's actually the wife.
Yes.
And she worked hard. A lot of Filipinos are hard workers, I'm going to be honest. But there are some that, of course, are completely, whatever.
I think she was naive, and that's what
She was
judge
naive.
said.
So she worked her ass
Very
off,
young.
and then he basically promised her if he just stays at home and takes care of the house, he'll pay her. So therefore, she didn't actually go out and work outside the house. However,
She said she did help with the business too.
Right.
It just wasn't
right. That's what I mean. She helped with the business, but her paycheck, all her earnings were sent directly to the family, as the story goes. Now, here's the problem:
allegedly. Yeah.
the money that was sent to her family covers the expenses of the business, not necessarily her earnings. So I mean, I'm not trying to point fingers here, but basically, it sounds like he's trying to get a 2-for-1 deal. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get a twofer, which means, since I sent the money over there.
Well, she was covering all ends, George. It says here that she told him from the very beginning that with me leaving the Philippines, she was responsible for her brothers and sisters. So when the eldest or one of the children or the first couple ones are usually responsible for the parents and for the brothers and sisters and all that. And she goes, I told him that she was to send her sister to school and that it was her responsibility. The judge wasn't happy with that. She didn't want to hear that. She said that it's not her responsibility, but the judge should have understood also she didn't understand Filipino culture. It's embedded in a Filipina skin that when you marry her, you've definitely married the family. And if there are people here in the room that know different, or you're not having to take care of family at some point or all the time or make up for her working, I doubt it. Most of them, that's the way it is.
Right. No, it's.
And so the judge definitely didn't understand that.
No, it's a culture thing. Remember that when you take on a Filipino or Filipina, when they're responsible for their family and they actually support their family, if you say, hey, you're my wife now, or you're going to be my wife, I'm going to take care of you, you know what I'm saying? When you say, quit your job, I'll take care of you, don't worry about it, that means you're going to take care of whoever she supports. It's a culture thing. Okay? Like
and a lot of them are. A lot of them that come here to Angel City that work on Walking Street, other jobs, call centers that are here, most of their money goes back to the home. It goes back to the hometown that they actually came from to support other siblings, their parents, grandparents. The same with the OFWs, kind of same thing happens.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so just be aware of that. Now.
She also, let me interject.
No, go ahead.
When asked, was she going to stay in the United States? Okay, it's been 6 months, married, already divorced. Looks like allegedly he was controlling her, not giving her money, working the family back in the Philippines. A bigger age gap, not uncommon here, but a lot of things. We don't know the entire story, but she was asked about staying in the United States. She says, I don't think I can survive. I don't even know if I can survive. I'll have to work a couple jobs. She's already in some debt. She already owes attorneys. She says she has to pay for her immigration lawyer now. She's got to pay for her car insurance. So it looks like she was already paying for everything. But yeah, I think there was definitely something toxic going on there.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think I remember she did say she has 2 jobs.
So, no, she said she had 2 jobs.
No,
she had to get more jobs.
Working inside and outside the house.
Well, she is now. No, not. I think it was afterwards.
Oh, right, afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But.
Yeah, and reading the story here. So yeah.
No, again,
23-year-old.
This tells you that this woman knows what she's doing. She's not your average Filipina. She knows what the game is. And here's the problem I have with this. Not this particular situation we're talking about. The problem I have is a lot of Filipinas or Filipinos think that the moment they marry a foreigner and then they step onto the U.S. soil, they're gold. No, you're not. You have to work your butt off.
Well, that or you're really relying on that person. I told people, correct. I said, how many times have I told you in the last 3 years almost? I said, although our marriage is solid, okay, really solid, there is always a possibility of a couple breaking up. It's always where, who knows? I mean, not trying to be weird. George could go off and cheat on me. I don't know. It happens. Midlife crisis happens. My dad did it to my mom at some point. So, I mean, you never know what And I'm just putting you under the bus right now, babe. Just hold on to this. See, he punched me in my eye. So, see? And so you never know. So I'm just not talking about me. I'm talking about other people. But for me, I thought about it. I'm thinking about the backside. If something happens, then what am I going to do? Because here, I won't be able to get a job at all. There's no jobs for me as it actually stands, guys. And the YouTube and any online work would not be enough. I'm sorry, it's just not enough. Nor am I going to go the back round. So I would have to make a track to go back to the US. It's the same with her. She has nobody there. I'm sure she would want to come home to her family instead. I mean,
Well, yes and no.
I wouldn't want to live there by myself.
No. The thing is, like I said, she was already prepping for this. I think
No.
with or without this young one, she was ready for the long haul. That's my point. Because, like I said, she already had hers. It was already in the works.
She probably, it's a
Yeah,
possibility.
no.
And it's really scary. And it was apparent in seeing the guy in court that he was the one with money. When the judge asked him, he knew it was, what time it was. And she had zero. I mean, she had zero, and she's so young. This baby, she was really young.
The age gap wasn't that bad. It was 20 years.
22.
22?
Yeah.
Well, it's, 20 years, yeah.
He probably had a kid that was her age, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's
here
probably
it's gonna.
his research.
Oh, they got bigger age gaps here. There was that 20-year-old with a 60-something, 65-year-old recently. So there are a lot bigger age gaps. We've seen them 30 and 40-year age gaps here. But people won't look at you twice. The difference is most of these guys are coming with pensions and there's something to hold on to as the foreigner. She's the foreigner over there and she doesn't have anything. So now she's, but in the end, the judge seen that the phone bill was not brought into the divorce settlement and they actually did drop she didn't have to pay, was it $2,500? $3,400? I forgot what it was.
Well, it's $3,400, but
Okay.
no, it wasn't. Okay, so the situation again, for some dumb reason, I say dumb because some of you guys know what you're talking about. I see somebody said in the comments, "What, they've never heard of Magic Jack?" Apparently not, because this is somewhat recent. Now,
Yes, it is.
and Magic Jack been around for years.
Or video, yeah, it doesn't.
Magic Jack existed literally when I landed in the U.S. Mini crickets that long ago. That's how old Magic Jack is.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Point,
that is true.
Right.
I don't know why.
So point being is, obviously they didn't know anything about Magic Jack, and they run up a phone bill of $3,400. Now he lost the case only for the simple reason. The most simple reason is the phone bill was
The divorce, and he said he didn't have any debts.
Correct.
And that he didn't mention it in the divorce. When you go through a divorce, so actually, you guys, anybody been through a divorce, so have you list what debts were occurred together, what would you like them? And usually you do speak to your attorney about that stuff. I would like her to pay this, and that. But I think they also look at everything, like, what jobs and what's been paid and what's been done. I just think it's sad. It's another fine case of a Filipina that has went to the U.S. and something like that's happened. Now, on the other hand, guys have taken their Filipinas or Filipino husbands back to the United States, and then what everybody expects is there is cheating. Like, she's younger, she meets up with other guys at other friends' house parties. That happens, or vice versa. He does the cheating, and then she's left behind. So, when the relationships get to the U.S., that's where a lot of them tend to fall apart. And I believe Sunshine said recently he would never take another Filipina back to the U.S. for multiple reasons. And this will bring us back around to Rose wanting to go to the United States to actually be with her husband when he's sick. We don't blame her. I'm sure she misses him and all that, but she was going on about how she would get a job. And I don't know about that. That's really scary.
Right. The problem I have with that, not with Rose in particular, but like I said, a lot of Filipinos think that once they touch down into the U.S., their goal. I'm going to be honest with you. If I moved to the Philippines now, I would be stupid. Why? I'm old. The workforce, regardless of the job, will still look at younger, cheaper, faster, better.
No, I got that, but you just said you'd be dumb, but you did.
No, I said I would be dumb if I moved to the U.S. now.
Oh, to the you said
If I
Philippines.
were a
That's
Filipino and
if
moved to
you
the
moved.
U.S. now
Okay.
and go back into the workforce, I'm too old.
Okay, the first time you said
I'm
Philippines, I
not
was wondering.
being I'm not being ageist because I'm not the ageist
No, that
one.
makes sense.
It's
Okay.
the workforce, the
Actually, it would
current
be here
workforce.
too.
Correct. Here in
Really,
the
both
Philippines, same
sides.
thing.
And they can't survive. There's no way that Rose or anybody else can live on it. Let's say the guys, which a lot of them are collecting Social Security checks and pension checks, you can't live on them. There's no way to have some of these guys recently, like every man has a story, has a pregnant wife and stuff. If he took his check and went back to the US and that's the only thing he had, he'd be in like really bad shape.
Yeah, basically what we're saying is now it's different if you have your house there and you have your Social Security coming in. You don't have to pay for rent. You already have your car. Everything's paid for because let's admit it. As you go to your dawning years, you have everything already settled, and then you bring in a Filipino in your country. Now, if she stays with you, she's gold. But the moment she walks out that door and starts to survive on her own, that's a different story.
Yeah, here's another thing that she was also talking about, and I heard this conversation. It sounds like he had definitely dropped her, and she had a lot of regrets. But she should have seen, her eyes should have been wide open, considering they met through Cherry Blossom, a dating magazine app, that actually something like this would happen. She met a guy and talked to him for 2 years and then came on over trying to get her visa and then showed up and then bam. So I'm sorry. And she probably seen all the red flags too. He probably was already toxic. If a guy acted like that and was trying to get his cell phone or his phone money back, there was already some problems. Evidently, if she only got 4 hours a night sleep and he didn't deny any of that,
Well,
the house
actually,
cleaning thing, something was up.
the flag that I saw again, that taking sides here. The flag that I saw, and anybody would agree with me again, is wait, you're going after the bill after the divorce.
Yeah, so
When the
something
bill
else.
was before the divorce.
Right.
That was my red flag in my own opinion, and that has nothing
Maybe
to do.
he was just. I
Yeah.
think it was just still toxicity. He was
Yeah,
just trying
no, I
to
agree, and
get
that's what I'm
to her.
saying. And anybody in the U.S. right now would agree. Like, wait a minute. So he's going after the bill after the divorce. That never works that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go through and answer. Guys, go ahead and make your comments on this. We'll start going through the comments. Good morning.
No, I know. I'm just looking how far.
Good
No,
morning,
it's right here.
Hangley.
Jack Wolfanger says, "Good morning, Heidi and George. My wife and I have a 38-year age gap. We are happy, be comfortable in your own skin, never going back to America."
That's true.
That's the thing. It's not about the age gap. It really is never about that.
It did send the courtroom into shock over a 20-year, and I was like, damn, look at him respond to that. Imagine if they were here, if they had a problem with that. But I think it's a Western culture on that.
Right.
That
And like I said, as long as it's real, as
you're
long as
happy, yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're happiness. But it also, you both have to be understanding about each other because remember,
You're still a
Yeah.
foreign couple, guys. A lot of people think it's just going to be instant. And, it's like, oh, they're sweet and they're nice. And you kind of go through, like you said, this honeymoon stage. But in a couple years, can you guys still sit down and have a conversation and have an understanding and stuff? Me and George is a couple years in now, and we spend all of our time together. There are days where we have lots of differences. I mean, you guys have seen it on air. You've seen me blow up and throw my hands up, and it's, the tensions are real, but it's how you make it through it. And I'll have to be honest, with a large age gap difference, sometimes there is no understanding with these couples. And so whether it's here or in the US, sadly. So
well, again, Adventures by Susan. He wanted to be in control, and I think she was weak. Well, actually, I think it's backwards. I don't think she was weak. In fact, the reason why I don't agree is because they're divorced, which means she's stronger than the average Filipina. And again, the reason why I say that, I'm not defending her by any means. I'm just saying by what was basically on the table. The reason why I don't think she was weak, again, she already has most of her paperwork done, and the visa was already on their way before he was even, he just kind of helped finish it off. Kind of deal.
hey, happy Halloween, Focus in Asia. Hey, Black Grandpa.
Happy November 1st, Halloween. Hello, right?
Hey,
Focus in
hey,
Asia. Right.
yeah.
Well, JR is here. Wait. There's still an issue with a cultural, like, between me and Heidi. And it's not because, again, it's what I'm saying is imagine if I'm not familiar with the Western culture. it'd be more clashes between us.
Yeah, me and George had a long talk about covering this today, and I said, no, it's because we have a lot to say on both sides. I think the guy was a jerk for treating her that way. She legitly was crying, and it was really bad. And I believe he did that to her. There is a lot of toxic expats. They're here, they're there, that mistreat their Filipinas. I'm just going to put it out there, guys. We all know that, and it's vice versa. There are Filipinas that are toxic, that actually, as we see, they got rafina'd, or and right now, more like a hobo.
Black grandpa. The American judge wouldn't care about the Filipino culture, vice versa, if he were in Philippine court. No, they don't. They didn't care. Again, the only reason why she won is because, again, the reason why she won has nothing to do with culture or anything like that. She won only because, for the simple fact,
yeah, her name is Arlene.
Yeah, he went after her after the divorce, which kind of nullifies everything. It kind of like made everything moot at that point. They were like, because she said like, well, the phone bill was before the divorce, but you guys already have a divorce, and it's already done and over with. Guess what?
Thomas and Arlene.
Yeah,
45-year-old Thomas.
So he lost because, again,
23-year-old Arlene.
It was a lawsuit after the divorce, which, again, guys or women, if you're going to go after your husband or your wife after divorce with something that was inside the divorce, odds are you're going to lose because, again, nothing to do with culture, Filipino, Indonesian, American, Caucasian, African American, doesn't matter. Point being is, if it's after divorce and you didn't sell things before that, you lose. And that's why he lost, because, again, it's before the divorce. Oh, Carla says, but Heidi, George would never cheat on you. There you go.
You're damn right he's not, because I'm as toxic as all get out. Right, babe? I'm like Britney Spears. She made that song about me.
Well, I was going to say true story that I would never cheat on her, only because it has nothing to do with Heidi. Be aware that your partner will cheat on you because it's them, never you. It's them. If your partner cheats on you, it's never your fault.
Yeah, I understand that. That is true.
Them.
Right. If your spouse did it, had nothing to do with you. So, but no, and also it's not me nor George, or he's never cheated on a spouse of his or girlfriend in the same year, guys.
Wish. No, really, I wish. What I'm saying is, no, I didn't. But what I'm saying,
come out in the past.
What I'm saying, I wish I did. I mean, because it's kind of in the end, it's like, man.
In his past, there was a situation in his past. Yeah, I won't go into full details, but yes, you had every.
Remember, I flew around the country by myself. Oh my God. Anyway, that was before Heidi. Just so you guys know.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal.